It's investigate both sides of the argument, come up with your own conclusions.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I was like,
Yes. United Healthcare Group has lost 45 billion in value since the CEO killing. Man, I hope that's true. You know, I don't know if you invested in them, maybe it hurt you or whatever. But from my perspective, this is great news. It says United Health Group has lost more than 110 billion in market value since the attack on Thompson. Its peers have also experienced steep losses. CVS has plummeted more than 25%, wiping out more than 19 billion in value. Cigna has dropped 20%, erasing nearly 20 billion, and Humana has fallen 19%, shedding almost 7 billion. Y'all can hear me, right? It says, so yeah, the impact. So, they always want you to protest in a way that has the smallest amount of impact. When you protest, they're like, not like that, not like that. You can't do it like that. You should do it some other kind of way. Well, whatever way that is acceptable to them is a way that doesn't cause any damage or doesn't have any impact, really. This has clearly had an impact right here. They're all, and that's another reason why they charge that dude with terrorists. They don't want copycatters or whatever, but it's like, as you can see, this has been an effective measure towards the goal that this guy was attempting to accomplish. Now, I don't condone, murdering people in cold blood. I'm going to make that clear. But at the same time, people find ways to fight against the system, and the ways that are acceptable to the system are ways that don't have any impact, and a lot of this stuff was created out of violence in the first place. So you create something violently, and then you don't expect violence to come back to push against what you started. You leave people with no other avenues, and they're gonna feel that violence is the only answer. Let me read some comments. It says, Louise, you brought us one step closer to a single payer universal health care. I think that's true. At least it brought the conversation. Bernie Sanders put the conversation on the tongues of the nation when he ran for president the first time. But since then, they have buried it, and they're no longer talking about it. So now it's back. Another comment, it says, universal health care is the right thing to do. It's the most fiscally responsible and effective thing to do. It's the most humane and civil thing to do. Will people find the collective morality to do the right thing, to do the decent thing? And I don't think it's the people that's in the way of these things happening, although there's some. But mostly it's these corporations, They want to make maximum profits. So let me read this one. It says, billionaire needs to be added to the next revision of the DSM. It's a deep illness to seek amassing and stockpiling all the world's financial resources to just have them, to just stockpile wealth and therefore power. That's an incredible unwell behavior. I completely agree with that. You have the TV show where they talk about the hoarders, and you see these people with all this stuff in their house, and it's disgusting. And you're like, they're not mentally well. Like, their mental health is not there. They need some help. Like, why would someone do that? But when someone does this with money, then we act like, we put them on a pedestal and we worship them, and we act like that's something we all should aspire to be like. And I've always thought that was really crazy. Like, how much money is enough money? How much is enough? Once you get to the point where you're comfortable, once you get to the point where you can't spend it, like no matter what you do, you couldn't spend it all, you know, like how much is enough? And what an insane society that we have, that we put these people on a pedestal, these people that's hoarding wealth. Like, meanwhile, they're walking by people who are dying of starvation. Like, I know that you can't help everyone, you can't save the world or whatever, but it's a way of thinking that's not sane. If you want to be like a trillionaire, like, why? What's the point? Help me understand that, y'all. Help me understand what's the point in having $1 trillion. Help me understand. I don't get it. Another comment, it says, we're all happy, but somehow it's not good because they're only going to pass it on to us. The system needs fixed. For-profit health insurance is putting us all in jeopardy, and it has been for years. They will just deny more stuff to make up for the loss of revenue. As much as I want to like this, it's not going to turn out good for any of us. The new incoming administration will be putting healthcare, hospitals, doctors, etc. for-profit privatization. That's their next step. This was just insurance privatization for profit. And look at how bad this has gone for us. Just wait, pay attention. Because if you think this is bad, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And man, this person is probably right. And it's really sad. And this type of thing really should cause a revolution. But, I've been saying that for years. And it hasn't happened. They come out with a new shiny thing. They come out with an AI. They come out with the new iPhone. You guys are immediately distracted. Can't stay focused for nothing. Solidarity is the answer, Solidarity is the answer, like class solidarity, worker solidarity, cultural solidarity, that's the power that can offset that wealth power, because it's more people than the number, than their capital can manipulate. So if people can get together, and fight, and one of the ways you can fight is just by supporting each other. Like, simple as that. That's a revolutionary act. Your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, when they need something and you're there for them, that is a revolutionary act right there. Like, we started the show off with the Burkina Faso, Mali, Nigeria, and how these guys are, they're looking out for each other. They're watching each other's back. It's making it more difficult for the powers that be to come in there and dominate things. When you're less afraid of, like, I don't know, losing your job or losing your apartment or losing your house or whatever it is, when you have a network of people that's going to support you no matter what. When you have somewhere to go, when they keep us individualized, when we have this perspective of this individualism, and it's pull myself up by my bootstraps and I look out for myself only, that makes you weak, and that makes you a target, and that makes you easily manipulated. The whole thing where we're talking about the healthcare tied to your job, your job's going to fire you, or you want to move to another job. And one of the things that you're worried about is your healthcare. There's a reason why they tied healthcare to your job. It's another way to control you. It's another way to screw you out of wages too. If them threatening to fire you is threatening your life, like it's threatening your health because you're going to lose your health care. It's threatening your shelter because you could lose your apartment or your house or whatever. Like, it's detrimental threat, really, And changing jobs is just like that. The anxiety related to it. Am I going to make enough? Is what kind of healthcare are they going to have? You know, am I going to be able to carry my healthcare over? Am I going to be able to cover my kids, my spouse? But if you had a community of people who were supporting you, you know, then it wouldn't be like that. You could just move to another job, you know, without worrying because you know that they got your back. Maybe y'all could do like a crowd funding of the healthcare as a group or something, you know. Maybe y'all have like a, a a compound or whatever, a home that can support everyone. But you know, that's why they drive these attitudes of like, you know, don't you can't say nothing to my kids or whatever, or this is my lifestyle, this is the lifestyle I want to live or whatever, something that you know isn't going to be supported by your community or whatever. And they're like, you could do whatever you want to do, da 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 da. Because when you go into that community, you're gonna have to behave in a certain way. You're not gonna be able to do just whatever you want. You know, uh, you need to be able to help support the community, and you also need to not have a lifestyle that's detrimental to the community. So, and then you're like, oh, that's my freedom. So, your freedom to do what? To be exploited? Your freedom to be a savage, to be a heathen. Comments, it says, hopefully they file bankruptcy. Another one, I switched to another insurance company. I'm glad I did. You just went from one to the other, most likely. It says, what insurance company did you switch to that was not private? See, question mark. It's not going to have an impact that you think it does. They got it. They have a monopoly on that. And there's no real competition. And you go from one to the other and you're just going to be getting screwed the same way you were getting screwed at the other one. They're taking all the options away. Another comment, it says, couldn't have happened to a nicer, more caring company. Another one, good is effing obscene. Another one, just made my Christmas. Best present ever. Last one, it says, tying healthcare benefits to employment is capitalism at its worst. I hope this snowballs into universal healthcare because it's long